Have you ever experienced a moment when life seemed to slow down, right after you thought everything was finally speeding up? That's exactly what happened to Azu, once a top investigator known for her precision, bravery, and relentless pursuit of justice. Her name once echoed through the corridors of the agency. Azu, the woman who never failed a mission. But one day, she did. It wasn't a failure born from carelessness or incompetence. It was one of those moments when life simply refused to align with our best efforts. Azu's mission had gone wrong, a small miscalculation, a misunderstanding, and suddenly, she found herself responsible for an outcome that changed everything. The operation collapsed. Her confidence crumbled. And though no one blamed her harshly, she blamed herself. Instead of returning to the front lines, the agency reassigned her, not to a bustling city or a dangerous hotspot, but to a quiet.
おい！
はい。
現場を踏み荒らすな！
事件ですか？現場検証ですか？
動くな！
To Azu, it felt like exile. Every morning, she wakes up, walks outside, and has no idea what she's doing here. There are no suspects to chase, no intelligence reports, no adrenaline. Just people. Then, one afternoon, she met him, Oshima.
大島部長、本日付で配属となりました。天月あずと申します。よろしくお願いします。
Mr. Oshima, an elderly policeman with a calm appearance, seemed to command respect without needing to speak. That was the day she discovered that Oshima was not just any villager. He was a former elite investigator, one of the most respected in the agency's history. But he had retired long ago, choosing this quiet village as his final chapter. From that day on, Oshima became an unexpected mentor. But unlike the rigid training she had in the agency, his lessons weren't about tactics or intelligence. They were about observation, not of enemies, but of people. Not of threats, but of kindness. He'd say things like, "The true skill of an investigator isn't finding crime, it's understanding peace." Azu didn't understand it right away. But as days passed, she noticed how Oshima interacted with everyone. The way he helped rebuild a neighbor's fence, shared tea with the elders, taught children how to tie fishing knots. Every action was simple, yet deeply meaningful. And something inside her began to soften.
いいか、
はい。
パトロールの基本は
はい。
市民応援だ。困ってる人がいたら
はい。
話を聞いて力になる。わかったな。
はい。事件とかはないんですか？
お前聞いてたのかよ。
聞いて、大島部長、ちょっと待ってください。どこ行くんですか？大島部長。
夏子どこ行った夏子
どうしたの？
それゆきさん、夏子がいなくなっちまったんだよ。
娘さんですか？
待て。
いや、ダメですよ。だって誘拐だったら初動捜査急がないと大変なことになりますよって。
猫だ。娘のように可愛がってるメス猫だよ。
は
探すぞ。
あ、我々が探すんですか？
夏子
夏子
夏子。
She started helping the villagers, not because it was her assignment, but because she wanted to. For the first time in years, she felt present. She didn't know it yet, but this quiet life, this so-called exile, was slowly leading her toward something far more important than her lost career. Because sometimes, the road to rediscovering who we are doesn't take us deeper into action, but into stillness.
道どこですか？
向こう。
向こう。あ、じゃあ向こうに。大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫か？
ちょっと手伝ってください。腰が。
一人で行けるだろう。頑張れ。
ちょっと、
As the days turned into weeks, something inside Azu began to awaken again. Not the adrenaline-fueled instinct of a field investigator, but a quieter, steadier awareness of life itself. She no longer saw the village as a place of exile, but as a living, breathing classroom. Oshima had become both her teacher and her friend. Each morning, they would walk together along the dirt path that led through the rice fields. Oshima always carried a small bamboo staff, not because he needed support, but because he said it helped him stay grounded. One morning, as the fog lifted from the fields, Azu asked, "How did you know it was time to stop being an investigator?" Oshima smiled. "Because I realized I was chasing shadows more than truth, and shadows never stop running." That line stayed with Azu for days. In the agency, she had measured success by missions completed, by how many problems she could solve. But here, surrounded by the rhythm of village life, she began to understand that not all success can be counted. Oshima began giving her small challenges, nothing like the ones she used to face in the city, yet somehow just as meaningful. That day, he asked her to help a farmer named Adu who had been struggling to grow his crops. The soil was dry, the tools were old, and the man's spirit seemed tired. Azu, trained to analyze clues and patterns, began observing the environment. She noticed the irrigation ditch was slightly blocked and that the water never fully reached the farthest corner of the field. Instead of writing a report, she simply rolled up her sleeves and worked beside Ito, clearing the ditch and repairing the wooden planks. When the water finally flowed freely again, Ito's eyes filled with tears. He bowed deeply and said, "You didn't just fix the field. You gave me hope again." Azu realized something powerful. Her skills as an investigator hadn't disappeared. They had simply found a new purpose. Their conversations became the highlight of her days. He'd tell her stories from his younger years, tales of dangerous missions, moral choices, and quiet regrets. But what fascinated Azu most was how he always spoke about people, not criminals or victories. He once said, "When I was young, I thought my duty was to protect the law. But as I grew older, I realized my duty was to protect what makes people human: compassion, understanding, forgiveness." Those words stirred something deep in her. Soon, Azu became more than a visitor. She became part of the community. She helped children learn how to read maps, taught villagers how to organize safety patrols, and even helped an elderly couple find a missing heirloom that had been lost for years. It wasn't a case, but it felt like one, a mission built on kindness rather than conflict. The villagers began to look up to her, not as an officer or an outsider, but as a friend. She started laughing more, smiling more, even dreaming again. One day, while patrolling the streets with Mr. Oshima, she suddenly began humming a song she had loved many years before. Oshima looked at her and said, "You are changing, Azu. The fire within you is burning again. But this time, not to destroy, but to warm others. She paused, she said, "I think you're right. For once, I'm not fighting life. I'm living it." Oshima simply smiled. "Then you've already begun to return home, not to a place, but to yourself." In that quiet moment, surrounded by laughter, Azu realized that maybe, just maybe, the mission she thought she had failed wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of a much greater story. Time in the village flowed differently, slower, more deliberate. Weeks became months, and the seasons began to shift. The golden fields turned into quiet shades of brown as autumn settled in. For Azu, each falling leaf carried a memory of laughter shared, lessons learned, and silent moments of gratitude. She had grown used to this life, waking up early, helping the villagers, sharing tea with Oshima under the old cherry tree. But deep inside, she sometimes wondered if this peace was meant to last.
お二人さん、気をつけて。ありがとう。
あ、大丈夫です。
よいしょ。
この辺で大丈夫？
あ、よこし。
じゃあちょっと、せっかくだからお礼にお茶入れるから。
お構いなく。
じゃあ悪いですよ。
すいません。
はい。
ありがとうございます。
Then one fine morning, Oshima did not join their usual patrol. At first, Azu thought he was just a little tired. But as the hours passed, a feeling of unease rose in her heart. When she finally saw him appear, she saw him quietly return, sit down, breathing weakly. She quickly poured him a cup of tea. He looked up and smiled. "Ah, Azu, thank you." Her heart tightened. She could see it, the frailty in his eyes, the softness in his voice. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You should have come sooner." Oshima shook his head. "No need for sorry. You came exactly when you needed to." Over the next few days, she stayed by his side. They didn't talk much. Sometimes they didn't need to. The silence between them was filled with understanding. She thought about everything Oshima had taught her. The meaning of patience, the beauty of stillness, the strength found in kindness. He had shown her that being an investigator wasn't just about uncovering truth in the shadows, but also recognizing the light in people's hearts.
息子が東京の中学を受験することになりまして、村を離れることになりました。
ああ、そっか、残念だろう。
この村の平和は天月が守るから大丈夫です。な。
はい。
これからもよろしくな。
はい。
寂しくなるな、しかしの。
Oshima's journey had come to an end. There were no tears at first, only silence, the kind of silence that holds both sadness and gratitude at once. She closed her eyes, remembering his words, his laughter, his unwavering kindness. And for the first time, instead of feeling loss, she felt continuity. The villagers gathered soon after, each sharing stories about the man who had touched their lives. There was no mourning, only gentle remembrance. Azu watched them, the same people she once saw as strangers, now bound together by the legacy of one man's quiet wisdom. Azu found herself stepping into Oshima's place almost naturally. She started teaching the same lessons Oshima had taught her, not through lectures or orders, but through actions. From that moment, the village began to flourish. She had finally understood. The mission she thought she failed years ago had led her here, to this place, this purpose. It was never about redemption through glory, but through love, service, and quiet strength. And though Oshima was gone, his presence lived on, not in memory alone, but in every kind act, every shared smile, every moment of peace that Azu continued to protect. In the end, maybe that's what true strength looks like. Not in how fast we move, but in how deeply we learn to stand still.